Hey everybody, I'm Robin Kurian and you are watching Run It with Robin. Today is Eating Recovery Day and I am here with the Eating Recovery Center to hear from those who have recovered from an eating disorder. About 30 million people have eating disorders in the United States alone. So we're going to be hearing from experts along with a panel and our special guest, Candace Cameron Bure. Stay tuned.
The cases of eating disorders span across the ages from very young children to we've treated adults in their 80s. These are men and women, transgender. These are rich and poor and all races.
Guys, I am here with author of Almost Anorexic, Miss Jenni Schaefer. Thank you so much for being the moderator today.
Thank you. I was thrilled to be here for the first ever Eating Recovery Day.
You basically talk about, having an eating disorder as well when you moved to Tennessee to pursue your singing career. How did that spiral? How did that even happen?
That's a great question. My eating disordered thoughts actually started a lot sooner than that. You might be surprised, but at 4 years old, I actually already heard negative voices in my head about my body.
Body image sucks, and it's supposedly the last thing to go. When you leave these walls, let go of it.
When did you realize, I have a problem? And then when did you seek help?
That's such a good question as well. An eating disorder is characterized by denial. So for so many years that I struggled, the eating disorder itself was actually telling me, you don't have an eating disorder. You eat healthier than other people.
Was that Ed that was saying that? And I want you to explain who Ed is, but yes, continue.
Ed is actually an acronym for eating disorder, ED. So in my first book, Life Without Ed, I wrote about how in therapy, I actually learned to treat my eating disorder as if it were a separate person named Ed. And what that did for me was really help me see that if my eating disorder is over here, say sitting in your chair, and I'm here, then I am not my illness.
When I stopped working on Full House and had a major transition in my life, and that was when I was 20 years old, and I was no longer working, but I had gotten married, and I moved to Montreal to now be a wife and be a supportive spouse to my husband in his professional hockey career. And so the change of having worked since I was 5 years old to now becoming a wife and soon to be mom and living in a city where I didn't have family and friends around me, I really have kind of lost the sense of who I was. As my husband would play away 41 games out of 82 during the hockey season, I sat lonely so many nights and not knowing what to do with myself. But there was always one friend that was always there for me, that was so readily available anytime I wanted it, and that for me was food. Like we talked about, a cycle of binge eating and feeling such guilt and shame for that I would start purging. At that moment, I knew I had to seek help from others, and it wasn't just something that I could do on my own, and that's when I reached out to my pastor. We had many conversations, and it was through friends and family that I sought help and sought recovery and had an understanding. For me, it was really a spiritual awakening and came down to my relationship and my faith in God and putting my faith into the forefront of my relationship with food.
I think that younger women have found it to be easier to admit they have an eating disorder, right? The face of the eating disorder used to be the rich little white girl, and it's not so anymore. So as we're lifting the stigma of who has eating disorders and why, we see more and more people accessing care. Even some parents who realize, I think I have an eating disorder after their child gets treatment.
How do you approach someone and say, listen, I noticed that you're not eating so much? I mean, because people I would imagine you would get defensive right away. So what are some ways where you can gently go to someone and say it without them getting offended?
So I think letting go of they're going to get offended and be willing to take that risk.
Okay.
If I have to approach somebody who I see is having a hard time, first I tell them how much I care about them, that I love them and support them no matter what, and I see that there's some struggles that they're having with food, and I'm here if you want to talk. And for those who have been to recovered period, they'll say, even though I was really mad at that person for confronting me on my eating disorder, at least they noticed, and that has a special place in my heart.
Out there, if there's somebody that is watching this and they might feel like they do have an eating disorder, what would you say to them as far as like seeking help?
I would say, number one, you're not alone. And it's not a choice. You didn't choose this, but you can choose to get better. And I would encourage people to seek help. Go to eatingrecovery.com. We actually have master's level therapists that can speak with them confidentially to help them find resources. There's resources out there. We want to help people. We want to support people on their journey.
I still have some thoughts today, some urges, some behaviors that will show up as new experiences in my life show up, and I think that's what makes a day like today so important, is that we can reach out and share with each other what recovery is like, that it